The Barracuda from Fuji Excellent Edges range really changed my cutting habit when it came out 15 years ago. It's a soft texturizing and thinning tool. Because it has curved teeth with a small landing prong on the top, it really separates the hair beautiful and doesn't leave any cutting marks in the hair. So with this, all of a sudden I could start doing diagonal work in the hair and I could do vertical work in the hair. And at the same time, no hair was caught in between the plate. This special teeth design makes sure that once you keep your cutting blade closest to the scalp, your texture work will be seamless. So I can actually add in my scissor and I can close it a few times. And once I start pulling the hair out, you cannot see, there is no cutting mark left in the hair, but I'm actually cutting quite a lot of hair off. With the Barracuda, I can take away some weight below my recession line and it will be kept flat, but I still get a beautiful texture to it. If it's on curly hair, it's still a very beautiful technique to use because the curl will be more activated and you will have more bouncy hair. What I do is I take a horizontal sections and then I make pre-sections in vertical. I add my scissor in almost parallel to the hair strand and close my blade. And once I start working up towards my top section, I get a lot of texture in and I also take and remove some of the weight in the hair and I get a thinner look. I tend to drop every second section just to make it a bit softer in my haircut. You can, if you want, go for each section. It's all how you want to tell your personal story with your customer's hair. If you're having a male client and you want to do some classical thinning, scissor over comb, you can actually use the Barracuda two ways around. It has two finger tang, means that you can drive it with your cutting blade on the bottom, or you can actually flip it around and you can use your scissor with your cutting blade sitting on the top. If you're using your cutting blade on the bottom, the texture that you create in the scissor over comb will be significantly softer. So your hairstyle will sit and bend more smooth into the hair, into the scalp. If you flip your scissor around, having your cutting blade on the top and you're running through, you will create more texture in the hair that sits and become a bit more activated. With the Barracuda, you can manipulate your texture in a soft or in a more harsh way. We all have girls in the salon that wants to have a textured look, but they don't really want any layers in the hair. A good technique I use a lot is using my Barracuda to release the texture and to really cut softness into the hair. I take my sections up and I elevate it almost to 45 degrees. I use my cutting blade on the bottom of my section almost parallel to the hair, and then I'm working myself towards the front. Every time I strike the hair, I tend to move my body towards the front, so I'm not creating any square line, but I actually make my lines a bit rounder, and that makes my haircut sit softer. This technique releases a lot of weight in the hair, but everything is internal, so you on your external area you won't have any texture sitting. That makes it easier for your customer to really style and groom the hair and to really make it different in the styles that they wear from day to day. We often have customers that has a very coarse hair and they want us to take hair out. For me, it's important that when I'm doing this, especially if I have longer length, that it has to be very seamless. At the same time, I don't want to add any volume below my recession line. I want to keep my hair flat. With your Barracuda, you can add that flatness to the hair and you can take the bulkiness away. So you take tiny sections and you work your scissor parallel to the hair strand and you're pointing your scissor towards the scalp and going vertical. Every time you strike the hair, you actually take a bit of hair out but it all becomes seamless. The hair will sit flat, and even when it grows out, because we have made it as a vertical haircut, it will stay flat. I can move myself all the way with this technique towards my recession line. I wouldn't do it above my recession line, but under the recession line it makes a beautiful flat and sleek look to my customer. Obviously, because I'm cutting on the scalp, I cannot do this every time. I have to tell my customer that it's a technique I have to use maybe every third time. If I want to create lots of texture in the hair, lots of personalization in the hair, and just want to manipulate with the hair, what I can do is I can use my Barracuda as a point cutting or chipping scissor. So I can load my scissor in and I can take out weight in all different angles without getting caught. I can even reverse my scissor going from inside to out, and again I release weight, take bulkness away, and just create soft texture but without any visible lines. Everything I do is internal, and that means that I can still have styling options in my hair. I can wear it sleek or I can wear it with lots of texture in it.